Hello, this is Robert Thomason. I'm a former director of a condominium near downtown DC, and today I'm going to talk about energy conservation efforts from the perspective of a board member or an active condominium or cooperative owner. Let's get started by talking about the history of buildings. Many years ago, when energy was cheap, a lot of construction was done without much attention to energy efficiency, and that's led to some legacy costs. Many buildings now are using more electricity or natural gas than they need to keep the residents comfortable, and these legacy costs are creating challenges, but these challenges can be overcome. And the adage I want to start with, to give some perspective, is start where you are, work with what you have, and do what you can. A lot of people get into energy conservation and think of great projects like solar panels or green roofs, and they're wonderful things that should be considered, but not every condominium or cooperative is ready to do those kinds of projects right now. But don't let that dissuade you, because there are other opportunities to save energy and other things you can concentrate on, and you can find them by just by looking around where you are right now. Also, as you get into it, remember the triple bottom line that energy conservation is more than kilowatt hours of electricity saved or therms of natural gas saved. It relates to people. People pay to be comfortable. People make decisions. So as you try and save those kilowatt hours or therms, remember you're working through people for people. So it's what it's all about. You have to remember the purse. Boards of directors have a fiduciary duty to spend their association's money with um, with fiscal prudence. So you need to think of things like upfront cost and return on investment. And then finally, conservation is extremely important because we want to live in a clean and prosperous world where we have plenty of natural resources with which we can enjoy our modern lives. And the theme of the presentation today is if you proceed with the first two elements, the people and the purse, conscientiously, the conservation should follow. Also, when you get into it, take a top-to-bottom approach. Know how your building systems work. Know it from a comprehensive point of view, because these building components work with each other. And the next slide is a fairly detailed example of that. And it's important because the success of your effort really will depend on how well you get the systems working together. And the prime example is hot water. Um, Hot water is more than efficient boilers or solar panels. Once you heat the water, you need to store it. Your storage system needs to be properly sized. An engineer might have to help you with it, and the storage needs to be insulated. The water needs to be distributed, once again through insulated pipes and properly installed pipes. I'll just tell you about a hidden problem that some buildings suffer. There's something called a crossover, in which hot water lines are improperly and mistakenly attached to cold water lines. So the energy problem there is self-evident. You just have to chase those problems down and fix them. You need to balance the water as it flows through the building, and a good plumber knows how to do that with the balancing valves that are installed throughout the system. You need to have good, efficient, right-sized pumps. If you're using oversized pumps or old, worn-out pumps, you're using more electricity than you need. But conversely, if your pumps are undersized, then people on the far side of the building may not be getting the hot water they need, and they'll be running their faucets longer. So you need to have the right size, efficient pumps. You need to find and fix leaks, and that's just going to be an ongoing project, both in the common area pipes and in the units. And then you need to encourage conservation, and one of the best ways of doing that is to encourage Energy Star appliances. You've probably seen the labels, and so you have a resource there to direct people to get the better appliances, so they can enjoy modern conveniences without using too much energy. And then finally, your sewer bill is based on your water bill. So if you can reduce your water usage, then then you're getting the dual benefit of reducing your sewer bill. So this slide shows about 8 different ways that a hot water system works, and and they all have to work together to get your optimal energy efficiency. Um, Also, as you get into an energy conservation effort, you need to know your energy use. Obviously, you have your monthly statements, the utility bills that you've seen before. But a condo or a cooperative will also get monthly operating statements from their financial management companies, and these operating statements will not only show how much you've spent on utilities in a given month, but also how much you've spent year to date and whether you're on budget or not. So those are very good bits of information to use. Here in DC, they soon will implement a benchmarking law in which large private buildings are required or will be required to report their previous year's energy usage. So so you'll be required to compile a sort of a big overview profile of your energy use, and you can use that internally. You can also compare yourself to other buildings with it. The local electric utility, Pepco, soon plans to provide a web-based monitoring system for its customers so that they can look at their electricity on a pretty specific time frame. Instead of waiting for a monthly bill, they can go on the web and see how much they've used per hour or per 2 hours or some increment, some smaller increment like that. And if there's a spike in usage or there's some problem, they'll be able to pinpoint it to a specific time of day on a specific day. So that will be a very useful tool. And then finally, you can just go around with a notebook and just log your own meters manually. And we've been doing it for years, putting them in a spreadsheet, and it's been useful to help us resolve billing disputes and to just stay on top of any fluctuations in our utility use. Also, you need to understand your association procedures. Your reserve study is a list put together by engineers that show the remaining useful life of various building components. And also, this list will give an estimate of how much the engineers think it will cost to replace those units. It's a one-to-one replacement cost estimate. They're not putting in any premiums for energy conservation or any other consideration. But the reason this is important is it allows you to focus on what needs to be replaced soon. For example, if you know you need to replace your roof in the next 3 to 4 years, well then it's time to start doing homework on a green roof or on solar panels. But in the same breath, I mean, it also tells you this is not the time to put solar panels on because you'll just have to pull them off in 3 years. So the reserve study will help you sequence your planning for energy conservation measures. Your annual budget process is a golden opportunity to look at what you're doing with energy, because you have to assign a budget figure for your electricity use and your water use and your natural gas use. So this is where the rubber really meets the road, and it's where you really get people's attention. So that is a moment to really concentrate on your track record and your goals. And then finally, your bylaws will tell you how you can invest in new expensive components. For example, if you are considering buying solar panels for your roof, your bylaws might require you to get a majority vote or maybe even a consensus of all the owners before you invest a lot of money in something brand new. So you might want to go that route. You might want to, muster that political support for that, or you might consider instead leasing or engaging in some sort of other agreement to put panels on your roof, in which somebody else makes the upfront investment and then charges you a monthly fee based on usage. And that way you can comply with your bylaws and get your solar panels. But like I said, your bylaws will tell you what you can do. So here are three ways you can use the procedures you already have in place to streamline your efforts. People power. People differ in attitudes towards energy efficiency, and you just need to be patient with those who are not as enthusiastic as you are, and you need to learn how to integrate your ideas into other people's agendas. You need to foster energy awareness among the staff, but don't expect them to become energy experts quickly. They have a lot of other duties. So they're professionals who understand the importance of it. Energy efficiency is just one of many things that you've hired them to do. So, just keep that proportionality in mind. If you do need expertise, go out and contract with people who have it. There are a lot of qualified specialists, such as certified energy managers or professional engineers, who are in the business of making buildings more efficient. And one of the ways you can engage their services is to commission an energy study. Building systems are complicated enough to warrant these studies, and engineering firms will do that top to bottom assessment that I spoke of before. These engineering firms know the nooks and crannies of buildings, and they will look at things that you might not be aware of and bring them to your attention. And you should expect two things from an energy study. One is a series of recommendations that will tell you what sort of energy conservation measures the engineers think will work in your building. And these recommendations will have estimates of the upfront cost and estimates of the annual savings. So that set of suggestions will be a good tool. But also the study, it will also make a good one-stop document for the way your building works, or at least the way it uses utilities. And this is good because directors, newly elected directors, new managers, staff members, contractors will all have, like I said, this one-stop document where they can go and read how the building works and what kind of equipment is in the building. And then just like in one sitting, in 20 minutes, walk away with a good comprehensive view of what they're dealing with. So those are the basic ideas of energy conservation for condominiums and cooperatives based on my experience. And I'm putting up this last slide for other places you can go and study. The first two are some stories I've put up on my website. You can get a copy of the slideshow at the top link. And then also there's a very interesting page with 537 energy conservation measures. So you can browse through that, see which ones work for you. And then finally, here's the link to the DC benchmarking page. So you can see how DC is approaching this. So I want to thank you for listening, and I hope that your project goes well, and I hope you will stay in touch.